Hey everybody, thank you for stopping past podiums and platforms today. We seek to talk to celebrities, public figures, and people of influence from all walks of life. So you could, whether you are on the main stage, you're a celebrity that's all over the cameras, or you might be a local celebrity in your own household, in your own family. If you are a person of influence or a public figure or a celebrity, I want to encourage and I want to speak directly to you. If I had to title today's conversation with you, it would be When the Season Ends. Many of us walk through situations in life where we come to a place where things are actually ending. A season of our life is ending. And so when I thought about this topic, it made me think about what it's like when I watch my favorite TV show and my series that I have going on. We all have them. But what do I feel when that season ends or that show ends? One of the things I feel is I'm actually usually caught off guard by the cliffhangers. Oftentimes, when the show ends, it ends in its most powerful way, something that I don't expect or that I don't see coming. And I'm always caught off guard by the cliffhangers. I'm also a little bummed or maybe even a little saddened about the fact that my show has ended for the season. So I actually do have to go now and figure out what am I going to do? What am I going to do with that time? What am I going to do in that moment now that my TV show has ended? But ultimately, after I process all of these thoughts, all of these emotions, all of these feelings, what I usually do is find another show to watch, right? So today, I wanted to talk to you about what it's like being a main character in a TV show. One of the things that I like to point out is that main characters are the ones that are most affected by a season ending. That's right. Most of the time, we're falling out because our favorite TV show is ending. We're having a moment, like when people had a whole moment when Game of Thrones ended. But however, we don't always think about what the characters went through, what the directors went through, what the writers and producers went through when that show ended. That's far from our mind. But we are the ones who actually watched it, but they are the ones who actually lived it. So this is the way it is sometimes in our lives, is that people may be connected and having emotional experiences with the things that they have watched go on in our life. But the reason why it affects us differently is because while they watched it, we were the ones who lived it. That's how it is for people who are people of influence and their lives is lived out before the world. People are connected to their stories, but they can't be completely tuned into it because they're the ones that's looking at it from afar, but we're the ones that's actually living it. So when you live it, you feel it differently. It affects you differently because it's your life. It was your story. These people traveled with the show on in, meeting, acting, rehearsing, connecting, hanging out, right? And so when a show or a season ends for them, those people, they actually feel it a lot deeper than you and I who sat by and watched it felt. And that is the way it is with our life. So I want to also say that we have to realize that we all experience these type of moments. Now it's a little bit easier when I can stomach it a little bit more when I take a moment to think about the fact that I'm not the only one who has went through this particular situation before. Someone else has encountered whatever it is that you are going through or you're experiencing or whatever season is ending in your life. Somebody somewhere has also either they're going through this same thing or they have gone through this same thing. And that sometimes is comforting because it lets you know that you are not by yourself. And there are people who have gone through the same thing that you are going through right now and the things that are ending in your life right now. And guess what? They overcame it. there was a successful story on the other side. And that's the way it will be for you. So be encouraged knowing that you are not the only one who walked through this. I hope that gives you an ability to stomach the situation, because you can know that someone else somewhere in the world is either going through it too, has went through it, and even made it to the other side of that which you are experiencing today. And I'd like to remind you of the fact that when you're watching your favorite shows, even though the season is ending, one of the things that we can make and be sure of is that not all seasons get canceled. Not all seasons are completely over. Some seasons are temporarily paused until the new season begins. Now, that's something to think about. Is now this season may have ended, but it doesn't mean that your season is canceled, and it doesn't mean that your season is over. It could simply mean that this is actually paused until the new season begins. And that means that there is something else on the other side of this. And so someone has to come, just like in the whole world of acting and movies and plays and all of that, some and things of that nature, and even sports and entertainment. Someone comes, and they usually calls them an announcer, comes and they tell them or tell other people that there will be another season. Yes, an announcer comes and says there will be another season. I'll give you some examples. The weatherman comes and tells us when summer is on the way. He tells us when winter is around the corner. A doctor comes and says the baby is almost here. And when the boxers are in the ring, the announcer says we're going into round two. And when you are an actor or actress, what happens is they say action, because scene two has begun. So what I'd like to announce today, that there is, although season one may have ended, there will be a season two for you. So I want you to be encouraged in knowing that yes, season one has ended. It has over. It's over. But guess what? There is a season two for you. And no season looks exactly like the last. That's right. It's going to look different. It's not going to look like last season. It's not going to be like what you experienced last time. New seasons in TV shows, they have a new plot, they have a new plan, and they have a new sequence of events. There's a new narrative and a new story. And that's what it is for you, Mr. Celebrity and Mrs. Celebrity, Mr. Public Figure and Mrs. Public Figure, or persons or people of influence. That's right. There's a new plan, there's a new plot, there's a new storyline and a narrative for your life. This is not going to look like what your last season looked like. There's new excitement, new adventures. It will have you sitting on the edge of your seat, and new opportunities await you. If you could only just see it. New characters. Now, this is a good one. That's right. There are actually new characters and new shows and new seasons. Some people are not going to make it to the next season. That's right, of your life. Some people are not coming back. And that is something that we have to get used to. But guess what? While others are not coming back for the next season of your life, there are some new people, some new characters that actually are coming. And you know what? They're going to be divine connections. That's right, connections that were meant to be in your life. So all of this is what reminds us of our favorite TV show. And that's why when my shows come back, they don't have the same people all the time. Sometimes they switch people. Sometimes they introduce a new character. And that's the way it is with our life. And so one of the things I also want to mention is that when when the season has ended in your life, most of the time you might have a couple people or friends or whoever, they're actually asking you, what's getting ready to happen next. They want to know what's getting ready to happen next in your story, right? The world wants to know that, especially when you are on a wide platform. They're always talking about what's getting ready to happen with sister so and so, what's getting ready to happen in her life, what's she gonna do now. And what I would encourage you to do is when you get people start asking you those questions, they want to know what's going on with you. They want to know what you're going to do next, where you're going to turn the corner. You know what you tell them? The same thing that the writers tell every person that asks about the next season of the show. They tell them to stay tuned. They tell them to keep watching. Now that right there has sent me to a place. Sometimes you actually have to tell people when it comes to your life, stay tuned, keep watching. You actually have to wait and see what's getting ready to happen to me. They gotta watch. And guess what? So do you. You have to keep watching your life, seeing where your life is going, keeping your eyes open, knowing that there's more to this. You got to sometimes stay tuned into your own life and keep your eyes open. You want to make sure your eyes are open in this season when it's ending and what's going on in your life. Make sure you keep on listening, because in this season, you don't want to miss anything. You don't want to miss anything. You don't want to miss what's coming to you. You don't want to miss what's happening to you. You don't want to miss the doors that are opening for you. And most importantly, you don't want to miss what God is doing in your life. He is doing something in your life. And I want to let you know this. Every writer has a plan for every character. I'm going to say that one more time. Every writer has a plan for every character in the story, and there is no difference for your story. There's a plan for you. There's a plan for your life, and the writer has written your story already. You are a part of a plan, and just because others are just seeing it for the first time, that does not mean that this was something new. Okay, let me repeat that. Oftentimes, when a show airs, right, when it airs and it's being produced, it's the first time the world is seeing it. It's the first time other people are seeing. But what they don't understand is those actresses and those actors and the producers and the writers, they've been working on this. They've been working on it. That's right. They actually spend their summers working on it. When the season is ended, it don't always end for the actors and actresses. They still working. They're still producing, because you know what? They're working on the next season. So that's the same thing for you. Just because people are just seeing it in your life or seeing things go on doesn't mean that it's brand spanking new. You've been in the oven. You've been working. You've been cooking. Your life has been changing even before you even realize it. It's the same way it is for you and I. Sometimes we don't see the things that have been working under the surface. Is almost like a plant. Okay, when the flower blooms, it's not because the plant was just planted. It blooms because it was working and growing under the surface, okay, through the ugliness, through the darkness, through the moist times, the dark times, the times that other people could not see. So when the flower blooms, okay, and when it produces something beautiful, it's because of what was done behind the scenes. And that is so with your life. So when a season ends, it doesn't mean that it has been canceled. It doesn't mean that the show is over. It just means that it's time to embrace your next season. I hope you are encouraged today. I hope you are inspired today to know that it may be ending, but it's not over. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day.